Hola, bienvenidos a Tina's Spanish Cafe. This is where we spend time in conversation, having a little bit of cafecito. But the main thing that we do at Tina's Spanish Cafe is to learn some Spanish. Cafecito is one of my favorite things to do because it's such a part of Latin culture. I like what it represents. Good friends, family, and good conversation. Each cafecito cup has a real special meaning to me. I have a lot of them. This one we got in France, and every time I see this cup, and especially every time I drink from it, it brings back the wonderful years that we had when we lived in France. Vive la France. Qué rico el cafecito. Our lesson for today is ER and IR ending verbs in Spanish. ¿Listos? Okay, vamos al pizarrón. Mi marcador. You remember when I taught the AR ending verbs in Spanish, that before a verb is conjugated, it is called the infinitive. And I grouped today some regular verbs that end in ER and IR. Like, let's take ER first. The verb leer, to read. What you do to conjugate the verb leer, and remember, to conjugate means that each subject takes its own form of the verb. Here you drop the ER and you add the following endings. To the yo form, you add an O at the end. So it's yo, le, o. In the present tense, the yo forms of AR, ER, and IR verbs, they all rhyme. So it's yo, le, o. They end in O, if that helps you to remember. Yo leo, tú, meaning you, lees. The ending here is es, and here, of course, is O. Él, ella, let me write those down. Él, ella, and usted. Remember, usted means the formal tú in Spanish, word for you, when you are talking to someone in authority over you or someone that you don't know very well. So, usted. For these subjects, the form is lee. Again, you drop the infinitive form, the ER, and then you add these endings depending on the subject. These are the singular forms. Let's go with the plural. Nosotros. We. Nosotros. Nosotros. Leemos. So you add hemos. Ustedes, meaning you guys, y'all. Ustedes. Ustedes. Leen. This is the ending that you add to the infinitive form, en. Ellos, meaning they, and ellas, they, feminine. Same ending, but I like to write it down so that you can see it. Ustedes, ellos, that means they, when you're talking about a group of males, the masculine form, ellos or ellas, leen. Remember, if a group is mixed, you use the masculine form. So, leen, the en. I group the er ending verbs and the ir ending verbs because when you conjugate them, they are very similar. There's only one subject that changes. So I'm going to show you that. IR, and I'm going to take the verb escribir. 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 You drop the IR because that is the infinitive form, meaning the verb in its basic form before you conjugate it. When it's in its infinitive form, it means to do something. In this case, to write. And here, to read. Let's conjugate it now. For the yo, subject, escribo. Escribo. See that? Same ending, an O. And it rhymes with yo. Tu. Remember your accent mark on tu when it means you. Tu escribes, just like here, es, es. For the to form, this is the ending. Él, ella, let me put él, or ella, or usted, escribe, let me round that S there, escribe. You see the E and the A, the same ending as the ER. This is when it's different, and for some reason, people always miss it. For the nosotros form, it's not hemos at the end. You'll see what it is. I'm going to write it down. Nosotros escribimos. Not escribemos. So every other form is the same for IR and ER ending verbs. In the present, we're talking about the present tense. Except for the nosotros form. I'm going to put big star there, so that you realize that it changes there. Here it follows the IR, so it's escribimos. Here it follows the ER, leemos, okay? Nosotros, ustedes, that's the y'all. Ustedes escriben. Escriben. Escriben, just like ustedes leen. And finally, ellos and ellas escriben. That was easy, huh? Now you know how to conjugate in the present tense the AR ending verbs in Spanish, the ER ending verbs in Spanish, and the IR ending verbs in Spanish. The regular verbs. Some other ones for ER, leer, you have comer. Comer follows the same pattern. Yo como arroz, tú comes, él come, comemos, comen, and comen. Beber, meaning to drink. Comer, of course, means to eat. Beber, to drink. Yo bebo agua todos los días. Yo bebo cafecito todos los días. Same pattern, bebo, bebes, bebe, bebemos, beben, beben. Aprender, that's an important one, to learn. Yo aprendo español, tú aprendes español, el chico aprende español, la muchacha aprende español, nosotros aprendemos español, Ellos aprenden español. Ellas aprenden español. Let's do a few others with IR. Abrir. Abrir, to open. Yo abro la puerta. I open the door. Yo abro el libro de español. Tú abres, él abre, pero, but, nosotros abrimos, not abremos, abrimos el libro de español. Ustedes, you guys, I'm not included there, abren el libro, and ellos y ellas abren. See, what other IR ending verb? Vivir. Yo vivo, I live, that means to vivir means to live. Yo vivo en la Florida. Tú vives en México. Ella, mi amiga, vive en Brasil. Nosotros vivimos en Estados Unidos. We live in the United States. Ustedes viven en España. Ellos viven en... So, there you have it. AR ending verbs, ER ending verbs, and IR ending verbs in Spanish. Easy, fácil, I told you. Hasta la próxima y gracias. For a written version